All right, good evening, everyone. It is June 17th, 8:06 p.m. Eve Belmont calling this meeting for the Concorso Association to order. Courtney, do you mind doing roll call, please?
Eve,
Present.
Annette,
Present.
Shauna,
Present.
Yvonne,
I'm here.
Sarah,
Present.
Christine,
Present.
and myself.
All right, thank you. We have a quorum. We'll move forward to adopt the meeting agenda as discussed.
Someone just joined. Is that Sean?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And Sean.
Thank you, Sean. All right. All right. If somebody wants to make a motion to discuss the meeting agenda.
I motion to discuss the meeting agenda.
All right, I'll second it. Any discussion on the agenda as submitted, less the one topic, but any other discussions in terms of amending the agenda? If not, anyone opposed? Right, the agenda will move forward as discussed. Right, Courtney, moving on to the approval of the minutes. We will address that offline. So we'll jump right into the new business, reports of officers, directors, and committees. My topics will be straightforward. The first topic is strategic planning. I think we should, as a club, start thinking about strategic planning, not just in terms of quarterly or yearly, but I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, 8 year plans, right? Roadmaps that we would work on. I know we've had some internal discussions about it before. This is something that that's heavily recommended, and I think we should move forward to start doing it. I will be forming a committee, and more to come on that. But this is something, again, we're in 2025. My goal is to have at least a 5 to 8 year roadmap, and we'll start implementing some of these changes hopefully in 2026 because these things are long term. I do know in the beginning of the year, I did email the board and ask them for some topics and some areas of concern that you'd like to focus on. Just please do consider that, and I will be putting a motion forward in the July meeting in terms of forming this committee. More to come on that. And that also includes about establishing a Concorso foundation as well. So moving on to my second topic in terms of Concorso current state. From a registration and popularity standpoint, I will be forwarding some of these key metrics offline, but the Concorso has now jumped to number 14 out of the most popular AKC breeds. From a working group point of view, the only other working breed that is higher ranked in popularity than the Concorso is the Rottweiler, coming in at number 9. These metrics are based on 2024 puppies and litters registered. And within the working group, the Concorso is the second most popular working breed. So with that, there's a lot of other things that come with it, but I think overall, there's a lot of enthusiasm for our breed from a registration point of view. And I think that's a lot of people that are not members of this club. That's a lot of individuals that we, as the stewards of this breed, are tasked to educate and guide them in the right direction. So I'm a cup full type of person. So I think that's a big challenge ahead of us. And it's also a big challenge in terms of keeping all of these dogs out of rescue. So more to come on that. And my only other update is for the first 5 months of this year, we've seen about a 15% increase in membership comparing to where we were at the start of January 2025. So if we've increased 15% in the first 5 months, I don't know if that trend will continue, but that'll be great. So we'll work with Sarah in terms of trying to set up and establish a membership strategy. But I think that's very good, right? Growing in 15% in only 5 months. So keep up the good work, Sarah. Keep up the good work, team, in terms of doing whatever we're doing to attract these members, and who of course will have to educate. Any questions in terms of my updates, in terms of what's coming up with strategic planning? Any questions specifically with the Cane Corso now being ranked 14? Last year we were number 16, and the 15% year-to-date positive uptick in membership.
Eve, this is Shauna.
Hello.
The only thing that I have to throw out there, and I know that you and I and many of the other board members have discussed this along the way, is in the strategic planning, I feel like that we need to incorporate a strategy to reach out and get more of different demographics that aren't traditionally members of this club, the ones that are buying these dogs but have no direction. All a person has to do is spend 15 minutes on social media sorting through literally thousands of people asking the same questions over and over. The breeders are not giving direction, the puppy buyers are not getting direction. And so I don't know how we can address that. I know that we're a small club, and I know that we are the board of directors, that we all have our assigned jobs. But if we could, as a group and as members of this fast growing breed, if we could begin to look forward and be creative and try to come up with plans together, not just that one person can implement this problem and this, it's not a problem, but this task is huge. I mean, we are not very old in the AKC. We're really babies, and we're trying to look at this mountain of being so popular. And so my thought process is there has to be a way that we can come up with creative new ideas, this board of directors, to reach new demographics, try to have an impact on them, and bring in more folks that can help us with that. So that was my only input. Listening to number 14, that's mind boggling. And for this club, which basically is a baby in the AKC, it's fairly a daunting task. And I really think that we're going to have to start thinking outside of the box and collecting more folks' new ideas to try to figure out how to even impact some of this staggering number of people buying and breeding Corsos. I yield the floor.
No, thank you, Shauna. I concur. We'll need to be innovative, right? I'll do a quick quote from someone that I admired when he was alive. His name is Steve Jobs, right? One of his most famous quotes is, "Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower," right? And our breed, our dog, definitely is not a follower, right? It's definitely a leader. And I think it's time for the board of directors, including myself, to stand up to the challenge and be as innovative as our breed. So I definitely concur with you.
That's a great wording. We just need to challenge each other and the membership to come up with innovative ideas to make an impact in this huge mountain of popularity that we have. Cool. Thanks, Eve.
I agree. And we'll definitely poll the membership as well too. We'll talk about that more next month, but I've been looking at some cost-efficient polling tools. I know SurveyMonkey is one of them, but I think, to your point, if we want to grow the membership, if we want to educate the membership, I'd love to hear some ideas from our constituents as well in terms of how we do this together. So this should be exciting. Any other questions in terms of my updates about strategic planning, the AKC ranking for the Corsos, or the 15% year-to-date uptick in membership? Okay, thank you. I yield the floor. Annette, Vice President, you're up.
Hi, thank you, Eves. So my first topic is my events committee. And can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, thank you. So for my events committee, we've been, let's see. We would like to set up a call with Greeley, Colorado Volunteers for Nationals. There's a few things that we still need that we would like to talk with them and try to work together. I'd like to try to get a few of the board members on, like Shauna, Eves, Christine, Yvonne, if she can. And also, the other thing that we're working on is we'll need a list of names with descriptions of all the raffle items that are going to, that are being donated. And then we'll need a contact locally for organizing. We'll also need volunteers to schedule and manning the tables for raffles and selling merchandise on all the days of the shows and the Breeders' Cup evening events. We will also be doing the 50-50 raffle for nationals, which we've spoke about, but we're also going to do it for the regional. So there'll be 2 times to win on that, on the 50-50. And I'll also need to make sure that, and I think Christine already said that she already had the tables already not set up, but organized to be able to have the tables there for the raffle items, merchandise. But I'm still need to find out where they'll allow us to set it up. Multiple designs for nationals is almost complete. We're just working on getting everything switched over to different files to be able to send to the vendor. The vendor, will in turn get us a few mock-ups in the next day or two. So I'll send that to the board. Along with the pricing and what we think that we should order for the show. But I'd also like to do a pre-sale online that they can pick up at the show. And I'm not for sure what you guys all think of this, but in order to entice the pre-sale sales and being picked up at the show, I would like to do maybe, a 10% discount on top, so they'd get 10% off their order plus free shipping, because we have to ship our bulk to the show. So if anyone has any questions about that, what you guys think about that, but I just thought it would be a great idea. And then for my other still on my events, I would like to make a motion to accept Kayla Nelson to the events committee. May I have a second?
I second. This is Christine.
Thank you, Christine.
Okay, we have a motion to accept Kayla Byers. You said Kayla Nelson? Or
Kayla Nelson. Yeah, Kayla
Nelson.
Byers is already on. Yeah.
So to accept Kayla Nelson, and we have a second, right? We're now open for discussion. Okay, anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Annette, will you email that to me, please? And actually,
Absolutely.
anybody
Yep.
who's had a change to their committees that I may not know about, please email me. so I can get that updated, please.
All right, thank you, Yvonne.
Thank-
And then also I would like, one of the other things on the event, and Christine, we'll get together on this. But you know, like a setup crew, takedown crew, there's a lot of items that I'm thinking if we can get on that call with Greeley volunteers and go over, we'll be able to plug up a few spots. And then what else did I have on here? The designs. Oh, and last but not least, I did want to also bring up again the Meet the Breed that happened in February. I'd like to send a heartfelt thank you to all the volunteers who made the Meet the Breed event a success back in February. Sarah Meisterling, Sean Emler, Kaylin Rose, and Robin Salisbury. Your hard work and dedication are truly appreciated. Volunteers like you help make events like these possible, and the Cane Corso community and the CCAA is grateful for your support. And I just felt I just really wanted to thank them again, because it really took a lot of work for these guys to head out, go to that show, do it, and get it done. So we're greatly appreciative. And that is all I've got.
Thank you, Annette. I echo that. We did reach out to the AKC, myself and Christine. They are still in planning the 2026 Meet the Breeds. So we don't have a specific date yet, but of course they will be reaching out, but just wanted to let everyone know that they are planning it. They don't have a definitive date yet, and hopefully in the next couple of months, they'll be able to publish that and we can plan for 2026. Right. Any questions for Annette on her topics on the National Specialty Update, Meet the Breeds, or the event committee? Okay, thank you. We do have a financial report that's submitted for the month of May 2025. I motion to give us more time to consume that, and we will give a readout and publish both the May 2025 and June 2025 financial reports in the July 2025 board meeting. May I have a second, please?
Second, this is Shauna.
Thank you, Shauna. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. All right, thank you, Selena, for submitting that. All right, we'll move on to you, Shauna, Director number 1.
I just wanted to chat with everybody and try to get our juices flowing and our brains going toward a couple of the major projects that the club has ahead of them. Since the legality problems have gone away now and we have put that behind us, that opens the door to once again to begin to do some exploratory conversations about major issues that this club is responsible for governing and being the steward of. One of that is the breed standard. For those that don't know, a while back, the director in charge of the breed standard updates for the AKC is Ms. O'Neill. And there was a period of time that she thought that until the club had some clarity in its legal issues, that we should put any updates or conversations of updates on hold. Now that that has been taken care of, I am receiving quite a few comments and input from community members in their frustration that some of the breed standard language is confusing. And I think it's time that we open an exploratory committee that begins to delve into what may need to be clarified in the breed standard. At this moment, I want to make it very, very clear that there is not any intention with me or anyone that I know that has been speaking to me about it in changing the parameters of the breed, just clarifying language that will help us be more the AKC community would be more understanding of the concept of the breed that we're trying to communicate. And so I do not have specific members chosen for an exploratory committee. So let me make this very clear. I am not forming a standard update committee. I'm forming an exploratory committee. So, or I want to, but I'm really anxious to hear what the board's input is. Do they think it's time? Do they have suggestions? And so I'd like to just for a brief, few minutes, open the floor for any feedback or suggestions or questions or anything like that. Anybody?
This is Sean.
Hi, Sean.
I think this is a really good idea because I've heard the same thing. When I've had conversations with up and coming judges, even, trying to understand the standard, they've had questions and it's hard. You can explain it, but sometimes it's hard to find the right words. So I think if we clean it up just a little bit, I think it's a good idea to at least start the conversation.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to assist on that.
That'd be cool. One of the things that I'm not sure that everyone that is not entrenched in the AKC culture of the judges and breed education in AKC, navigating all of the seminars of other breeds that I have been taking over the last 5 years, I've attended probably 45 probably at this point in time. One of the things that jumps out at me all the time is that it's what I call recycled wording. So every breed has a tendency to take a specific word or groups of words, and the meaning of that in their breed is decisively contrary to the breed next door and to the breed next door. And so one of the things that jumped out at me during all of this education and entrenching myself in the judges culture in the AKC is that when we use a word that they have heard 15 times in 15 different seminars in breed education that mean 15 different things, the essence of our breed is being lost because they cannot sort out, well, what does this word mean to you, kind of thing. And so I think that some of that confusion is very apparent because what we may mean by a set of words may not be what that judge understands because they have been taught 4 other ways to view that specific word. And so, and I don't know if you concur, Sean and Eve, because I know that you guys have also are entrenched in that culture, but that has jumped out to me so much that no wonder there's confusion when we all use the same words and they mean something different in every breed. So I would like to, if we ever get to that far, I would like to find wording that is clarifying enough in our breed that there's no more confusion because we are just using the same recycled words that mean something else in a different breed. Do you concur, Sean, Eve?
Yeah, this is Sean again. Absolutely. I think that you kind of like hit the nail on the head because you're right. And I'm trying to think of an example to give off the top of my head. But
I can give a couple. The bull mastiff, the boxer,
yeah.
there are so many breeds that have similar parameters, similar wording that means something very different in their breed. If the idiosyncrasies in each breed is very different. But yeah, head type and bull mastiff and boxer, if you read all three of those standards together without any context, you'd go, these dogs must all look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I concur. I believe this will be very valuable to the breed community. This will be very valuable to our judges as well. And this was one of the things that I was thinking about anyways, in terms of the long-term strategic planning, in terms of how to optimize the gaps in misinterpreting our breed. You know this very well, Shauna. We all do. Various members of the board, people reach out to us and ask us, is this really a DQ? How subjective is our breed standard? And just this is just a note for the people, our members listening, right? The people listening. There's nothing malicious about streamlining and optimizing a breed standard. That's business as usual. If anyone takes the time to read the AKC board meeting minutes, you'll see that in almost every publication. There are various breeds that are going through this optimization, this streamlining of enhancing the language, of ensuring that when people read the standard that they're interpreting it. So this is something that's very normal. And Shauna, thank you. Now that we're beyond certain impediments, it's a good thing that the club can reprioritize this very needed task. So thank you for that.
This is Annette, and everything that Shauna, you brought up, Sean, Eves, thank you for that clarification. I absolutely agree. It is something that is needed. And I think with that clarification and working on that, will be better for us in the long run, for sure. So thank you for doing that.
Anyone else have any suggestions or thoughts that might enhance this process, or any concerns? Okay. Well, I'm not sure exactly the best way to create this committee to accomplish what we need to. I need to put some thought in it. And quite frankly, summertime is really bad for me because I'm never in the house and I've got 15 million things, but I will put some thought on it. And when we come back in July, I'm hoping that I will have some ideas on how to properly launch this exploratory committee and begin to collect data so that we can use good data to approach this project. If nobody has anything else to say or input about that committee, I'll move on to the next agenda item. Anyone? Okay. All right. The next agenda item is the Canine College. When the AKC approached us about this, they told us it was going to take years. And of course, that rubbed my fur backwards because it's like nothing should take that long. And they were right. And I was optimistic. The Canine College, we were able to collect some more photos and some videos from the last filming. One of our challenges is that they only film certain places, certain times of the year. So our opportunities are thin, and getting what we need in to be filmed is not always easy. The other thing that I've noticed and that I'm frustrated and I have to regroup, and this is on me. We have had dogs and handlers come in that were filmed, and the folks filming didn't stop and say, hey, can you move your dog again? He was kind of crabbing. or that you're not coming right back at me, or they're filming and I realize that it's their job to film and I'm not criticizing them, but I haven't been present at these filmings because I can't always be there, at these times in these places. So what I've realized is we have missed several opportunities with dogs and examples that because there wasn't any direction or someone looking at the situation going, hey, we can get this better if we move this way or we stack this way, or hey, put that dog's head down a little bit. Those kind of things have been missed and therefore kicked this can down the road. So I'm going to try to regroup on how that's been working and try to be present and only schedule present. I thought that we would have an opportunity to have a film team at the Nationals this year, and they have elected not to go to Greeley this year. So I will I'll regroup and we'll see what we can get scheduled at those dates. Now here's the thing. There is another way that we can get what we want, and that is they do not have to be the person that films. If we were able to get clean film and photos, say like at our nationals, as an example, that was easily edited, that the background we're conscientious of background and that sort of thing, we could use that material, and we already have a lot of photos that we are going to use this way, that material in the Canine College. So I'm kicking around trying to figure out how we can take quality examples and get them in a place where we can utilize them. So if anybody has any really great ideas about that, let me know. But the process has been slow because of this. It's not like we have a filming crew where people where are the examples that we need to be filmed are always present. So patience is a virtue, and hopefully by the end of the year we will have the stuff filmed and we can move on to the second part of it, which is adding more content to the actual Canine College. Anybody have any questions? Wow, you guys are all quiet.
I have a question, Shauna.
Yes, sir.
This is Eve. When you say second phase, just from my education, is there some form of activities or activity that has taken place that the AKC deems suitable, and then this is the only thing that's outstanding to say, okay, now we will have a kind of Corso breed education course published on Canine College? Am I interpreting that accurately?
Not sure I understand the way that let me just give you, maybe if I answer it what I think you're asking, the way that is presented to me is we're in the data collection stage. They're doing they did interviews and they will continue to do interviews on breed experts. We will collect photos and videos and that sort of thing. So we're in the data and material collection phase. Then once we get where we think we have what we need, and I have kind of a list of the things that I know that what we have and kind of what we need, because I want this to be really great. I don't want it to be, something we just throw together. So I have an idea of stuff that I really want to make sure that we have available to utilize. So this is the material collection phase. The next phase, once we have all that together, then we will begin to put that, we will begin to, they'll begin to edit the interviews, the videos, they will insert them, the photos, and collect the information that the Breed Club wants to present in this Canine College. At that stage, we will begin to put stuff together. And then what I will do as the liaison between the AKC Canine College and the board of directors is I will bring those mock-ups or those drafts to the board, each stage of that. Once we have the data, the stuff collected and start putting it together, that's where the board will roll up their sleeves, and I will bring stuff, like if it's like a PowerPoint, let's just say it's like a PowerPoint, and each page that is put together and each video that's put together and each overlay and is put together. You will have an opportunity as the board of directors. I will bring that stuff to them. We will vote on that, and we'll have a discussion. And then my job as a liaison is take it back to the AKC and say, okay, this is what the National Breed Club wants to include, and this is what we don't want to include, or we think this needs to be altered. They are willing to work with us and edit. That's where the back and forth and the editing begins, and the creation begins to make this product highly educational, so that when the fancy or judges watch it, they walk away with a breadth of information and knowledge that they can refer back to. So does that answer your question about the stages we're in?
It does. Thank you.
Annette, did you have a question? I thought I heard it.
I do. Hi.
Hi.
So Shauna, through this process of, going through the steps and all this, I have two questions. So sorry.
Sure.
So
Sure,
one
no, you're fine.
one question is, how long do you think this process will take? Will it obviously be a few months, not something that won't be out until next year? Or are you hoping to have it completed by the end of 2025?
That I don't see that that's possible, because we're just now starting to get all the materials that we need, and we still need filming.
Okay.
We still have some interviews to do. We still have animals to film and photograph. I am hoping that we have a member in the Colorado area that is a professional photographer and video and that sort of thing. I'm hoping that somewhere we can tap into some of that maybe and see what we can get. But the photos have to be just right so that we can edit them